Hello everyone, this is Gene from New York City, and I will be giving my brief thoughts on the second Captain Marvel movie trailer. If you've seen me around the critic channels, that sound you just heard was my cat, RJ. Anyway, if you've seen me around the critic channels, say hi RJ! RJ, good boy, say hi, say hi. Anyway, then you probably know what I think about this, but I just thought I would give a brief synopsis. So first things first, you may be wondering, why are we staring at the 25th anniversary edition of Ghost in the Shell? Well, we're staring at it because I like it. First of all, we're staring at it because I like it. We're also staring at it because it's a gift from my younger brother. He knows his big sister well, and I honestly have nothing Marvel related in my apartment so I have nothing that is thematically appropriate, so I grabbed the first thing that I could think of. Plus, this mug is not ready for prime time, it's not ready for video. It is ready to follow the cat, though. But anyway, let me get to the point. So, first off, I just want to thank the 16 subscribers that I have. I'm making this video in part because of you guys. I have no idea how in the world I somehow obtained 16 subscribers without making content, but to you 16 people who decided to subscribe to me, I sincerely thank you. And heck, if recording a video with something in the center and on a bed works for DNC, it can work for me. Now, let me get to the point of the video, which is the second Captain Marvel trailer. For it being a trailer that I don't like, a trailer of a movie that I don't like, and a trailer of a character I don't like, I actually do have a few opinions on this. Let's switch to the cat for a moment. Okay. So, my first point of criticism is that they keep trying to emphasize the fact that Captain Marvel is supposed to be a hero, yet we don't see her do anything heroic in the two trailers that have been shown thus far. We see her start a fight with some, I'm guessing, kung fu scroll lady, the old granny on the what I believe is the bus. But that's not heroism. Starting a fight with somebody randomly in the real world gets you in trouble, gets you arrested, especially here in New York City, and it puts other people in danger. So that's not a heroic display. They haven't shown her as of yet in these trailers having a moment like with Captain America where he jumped on the grenade and was willing to lose his own life to protect others. We're not seeing that. And that's what frustrates me. They keep emphasizing the fact that she's a hero. She's a but with the text toward the end that says it all begins, and then it focuses in very clearly on with her, and then it widens out to say a hero. And I'm just watching this thinking, first of all, people who made this trailer, do you think that your viewing audience is that dumb that they're not going to notice that Captain Marvel is a female? We can tell. We can see her. I think even those who are blind and who can still have the ability to hear can hear by the sound of her voice that she's female. You're not helping yourselves by overemphasizing the fact that she's a woman. We know, okay, I grew up reading comic books, playing video games, watching sports, watching pro wrestling. I know that women can be strong and women can be heroic. The question is, do you people who made this trailer know that? Because for all of your insistence that Carol is a hero, you're not showing her be a hero. You're showing her pick a fight. That's what the villain does, not what the hero does. So there's that. Another part would be just Brie Larson's acting that we've seen in the trailers thus far in general. And I, like many other people, am not impressed. Though I have to say that I don't put the entire blame on Brie Larson. I put the blame really on Brie, but more on the director, and really just the source material. And let me explain. I think Bree's wooden acting is a result of a few things. One, I think it's a result of the fact that, at least from what I've seen from these two trailers, Miss Larson is not cut out for this type of genre, for this type of movie. Okay, I know that she's won an Oscar for a movie called Room, I believe it was called. I don't really follow movies much, so... I mean, the last movie I saw was Beauty and the Beast, the live-action one, which I hated. Maybe I'll make a video about that another time. I don't know. But I understand Brie is a Oscar winner. I respect that. Winning an Oscar is a prestigious award. It's an amazing thing. I give her credit for that. But winning the Oscar does not mean that you can act in every single role, in every single genre. Given what I've seen of Brie Larson from these two trailers that have come out thus far, I don't really think she is cut out to act in superhero films. Superhero movies are action movies. They're popcorn flicks. They are not dramatic thrillers like Room that are made for the Oscar. These are made principally to entertain. And I don't think Miss Larson, Brie Larson, is really cut out for this type of a film, first of all. Second, I think that she received very bad direction from the director. Whoever decided that the best way to approach the character of Captain Marvel was to make her this emotionless automaton really made a big mistake, in my estimation. Because first of all, nobody wants to see a truly emotionless character. That's disturbing. That's why Brie keeps getting all this flack. People don't mind serious characters. People don't mind stoic characters. Star Trek has been doing it for the longest, right, with Spock and Tuvok and, all these other characters, Seven of Nine. But those characters and the actors who played them knew how to display emotion without overtly displaying emotion. None of those characters were truly emotionless. They were emotionally repressed, emotionally suppressed, but not truly emotionless. In all of Brie Larson's scenes, she comes across as very wooden. And this is a common criticism, and it's the truth. She comes across as very wooden, as very lifeless. And I know that there are some who say, well, she's being brainwashed, and that's why. Here's my response to that assertion, or that defense of her acting. Okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, that's right, that Captain Marvel is being brainwashed, and that's why she says things like the Kree are noble warrior heroes. If she is truly being brainwashed, right, being brainwashed does not mean you're emotionless. In fact, if she's being brainwashed, she should actually be displaying more emotion when she discusses the Kree, right? If somebody is brainwashed, that means that they believe in something that is not true. If she's being brainwashed, that means that she believes that the Kree are these noble warrior heroes, and that is not true. Think about anybody or yourself. Think about yourself, or think about anyone you've ever known who has a sincere belief in something. It could be in a religion, it could be in a god, it could be in another person. It could be that their favorite sports team is finally going to win the big one, or they're finally going to break that losing streak. How does somebody sound? How does someone behave when they sincerely believe something? They speak with a passion. They speak with an intensity. They speak with a sincerity that Brie does not display in her dialogue. Even in the very maligned line where she corrects Fury and she says, heroes, noble warrior heroes. First of all, she sounds annoyed, and people don't want this to hear the hero being annoyed. And two, every time I hear that, and I've seen the trailer now several times because I've viewed it myself, and I've seen many reaction videos from men and women outside of comics and in comics and whatnot. And every time I hear it, I ask myself, Brie, honey, who are you trying to convince? Fury Me or yourself? Because you don't sound convinced of this. And maybe in the broader scheme, of the film, that's the point. That could be it. I'm not going to say that it couldn't. But this is not the film. This is a trailer meant to make me want to see this movie. This is not making me want to see this movie. I don't want to see an annoyed, unsure hero. I don't want to see a hero who randomly picks fights with people on a bus and puts other people in danger. I don't want to see a hero who is so unheroic, going by the trailers, who is so unheroic that the trailer has to constantly remind you, she's a hero, we swear, she's a hero. How about you show her being a hero? That would help. And to get back to my point about the lack of direction, or rather wrong direction, I think one of the biggest problems is that the source material they are drawing from the comics, to my knowledge, is Captain Marvel. Here's the problem with that. The reboot of Carol Danvers from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel has only been around for about, 6, maybe 7 years at this point? In comic time, 6-7 years is not a very long publication history. There's not a lot of stories, there's not a lot of characterization. Compare this to when Carol was Miss Marvel. Carol became Miss Marvel in 1977. I know this because I've read a good chunk of the 1977 story. Gotta love the internet. Anyway, I've read the bulk of that. I've read stories about Carol when she was with the X-Men and she was binary during the 80s, and the whole thing with her haunting Rogue in the 90s, and then I read all of the Brian Reed run in the mid-2000s. Or that was running in the mid-2000s from 06 to 2010. She has a 40-year history, 40-plus year history as Miss Marvel. And they are at least from my perspective, they are discounting nearly all of that history to focus on the 6 to 7 years she's been Captain Marvel. You're discounting, basically, from a comics perspective, her whole life, her whole history, to focus on the 6-7 years she's been this character that, let me tell you, as someone who reads comics, okay, she's not well liked in the comic community. She has some of her diehard fans, but most people, at least from what I've seen, most people who are like me, who are sincere fans of Miss Marvel, hate what's happened to her in the comics. Because in the comics, she became this fascist, villainous character. She was the heel. For those who don't know what heel is, that's a pro wrestling term. It means the bad guy. She became the heel in Civil War II, right? Damn near killing Tony Stark. She got this reboot not just in her appearance, which you take a very traditionally, muscle babe, muscle girl, feminine, but incredibly strong character, and then you give her this slim, lithe, and androgynous look. Yeah, you're gonna tick people off. But they also rebooted her personality, where she went from being complex and kind of being like a tomboy, but kind of sexy and very feminine, and she had this very complex past. She had a drinking problem. She was that hero who could save everybody but herself, right? She dealt with loneliness. She dealt with not really feeling human. In fact, that's what her binary form represented. Her disconnect between herself and Earth, right? Once she got her powers back and most of her memories back from Professor Xavier, she felt a disconnect with Earth, and that's how part of the reason she became binary. So there's a lot of this history that's being pushed aside for the few years that she's been Captain Marvel. And even as Captain Marvel, right, she's not emotionless. The problem with her as Captain Marvel is that they, for the longest time, made her a fascist, made her this incredibly angry, almost to the point of caricature, this incredibly angry, over-emotional, volatile character, which really, to me, was an insult to the character. And now, most recently, with The Life of Captain Marvel, which is another reboot, they've rebooted her a good, 3 to 5 times at least in the past 7 years, I think. She's now basically ordinary girl who happens to have incredible cosmic power. Yeah, it's not floating well. It's not going over well in the comic community. Just as someone who's in it, who reads the books, who sees the reviews, Carol is not well received. So, first of all, I don't even understand why they made this movie when people have been clamoring for a Black Widow movie for years. But that's beside the point. The point is, this is just a bad character to be making a film about, especially if you're going to discount what made her likable in the first place, just to focus on the few years where she hasn't, again to use wrestling terms, gotten over with the crowd who read comics. Now you're going to try to get her over with the crowd who watch movies by, again, making her this emotionless automaton type character. For crying out loud, Brie Larson in this role, Brie Larson in this role is being out-emoted by Major Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell, by R. Dorothy Wainwright from Big O. Anime robot girls show more emotion than Brie Larson has in this. It is insane. And for those who say, well, she shouldn't be asked to smile, you are missing the forest for the trees if that is your argument. The point is not that Brie Larson smiles or not. The problem that Brie Larson has with the way she's been portraying this character is that she does not come across as strong. She doesn't have any presence, and not showing any emotion, again, it's just very creepy. It doesn't look right. Take, for example, I think it's the storming the No Man's Land scene. I saw that a lot in commercials and trailers for Wonder Woman when that came out, I think in 2016. Gal Gadot, or Gadot, I don't know how you say her name, looked fierce. She looked powerful, right? There was this grimace on her face as she has the shield up as she's trying to move forward. That's emotion. You need to have emotion for your hero character. Even take a look at, say, Black Widow, right? Whenever in trailers or in commercials where they focus in on her, right? Scarlett Johansson has this fierce presence about her when she's playing Black Widow. Widow walks up and she starts fighting. I'm like, oh, there's a woman I don't want to get into a fight with. Not at all. She has this intimidating presence which gives the character weight. Again, Brie, and I don't entirely blame this on her, but her portrayal, right, which lacks strength, which lacks presence, which lacks emotion, it's just lack. She hasn't, from what I can tell, really added anything to this role. And remember that a trailer is basically an advertisement. This movie's supposed to be coming out in March, so they got about 3 to 4 months left. And I'm asking, like, what's there to watch? Seriously, as a person who is a potential moviegoer, I don't go much, but if you interest me enough, I'll spend the money. What reason is there really for me to watch this film? What reason is there for me to get up, spend bus fare, go to the Kaufman Astoria Studio Theater over here on Steinway Street, pay $13, probably 13 plus, and watch this film? Really, what reason is there for me to go see this? You can't put out 2 bland trailers that have just weak everything. Weak characterization for the lead character. Uninteresting fight scenes. Like, the one kind of cool part is where she's like flying in space, but even then, that looks more like a video game. I'm a lifelong gamer. I've played video games much more entertaining than that scene. Though I will say that I don't think the part when they show her in the mask on the top, I don't think that's her hair. I think that's probably bristles. I think they probably took the design from a Roman helmet and just put the bristles on top to sort of simulate, or maybe a better term is emulate, the helmet, the Roman war helmet, which I think is actually a good idea. But again, that's like one bright spot. And like the few times where we see like Jude Law, there's like one part where they like zoom in on his eyes, right? That has more emotion, and that's more intriguing and interesting to me than anything that features Brie with the who's the hero of the story. This is supposed to be Marvel's, basically, right, their response to Wonder Woman. Right, Wonder Woman is DC's big, female-led superhero flick, their first female superhero flick, or so they say. This is supposed to be Marvel's response, and this is just an incredibly weak response. And it's a weak response with a character that I was a big fan of. Just of like all of my favorite characters in like any medium, Carol Danvers was one of my favorites. And though Carol Danvers still is one of my favorites. I don't acknowledge Captain Marvel personally. But they took a woman who was strong, who was powerful, who was fierce, who was capable of great destructive force. I mean, this was a woman you did not want to mess with. And they've turned her either in the comics into a comically over-the-top, overly emotional nutcase, or more recently, generic girl. In the comics, now she's generic girl. In this movie, now she's bland girl. Again, there is more emotion in this picture of what I'm guessing is one of Major Kusanagi's many bodies. Let me flip this over. Here's the image we all know. There's the Major Kusanagi I know. But there is more emotion in this. Again, this is supposed to be a robot. There is more emotion in this face than in Brie Larson's. And that's my kind of rambly opinion. I think I've covered all the points that I want to cover. If you happen across this video and you want to comment, you want to tell me what you like, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, you want to tell me to bugger off and kick rocks, go ahead. I just hope that that you enjoyed this 22-minute video of me rambling about a movie I'm probably not going to go see. But it's about a character that I was once a really big fan of, so I thought that I would throw my proverbial hat, into the ring and just voice my overly long opinion. So again, tell me what you think, and I don't know if I'll make another video again, I don't know. But I hope you enjoy. I will soon be watching this Ghost in the Shell anniversary edition. Maybe I'll watch some Standalone Complex. That's actually my favorite version, I guess you could say, of Ghost in the Shell. But that's about it. If there's anything else I want to say or clarify, I'll probably just make a comment or something. So, whatever you're doing this Saturday afternoon at a little past 2:30 Eastern Time, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, hope you're doing well. I am signing off and signing out.